Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hunter. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people dismiss the handful of nickels they receive at the grocery store, tossing them into jars or spending them without a second thought. But hidden among those ordinary 5-cent pieces could be a coin so rare, so extraordinary, that collectors would literally pay millions to own it. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a coin that looks absolutely unremarkable on the surface. Just another Jefferson nickel from 1985 with a tiny D mint mark. But this innocent-looking piece of American currency has shocked the numismatic world with valuations reaching an absolutely mind-blowing $24 million. Yes, you heard that right. $24 million for a nickel that was minted just 4 decades ago during the Reagan administration. Now, before we get into exactly what makes this particular 1985 D Jefferson nickel worth more than most lottery jackpots, I need you to understand something crucial. This coin we're discussing today is just the beginning of an incredible journey through 3 of the most valuable nickels ever discovered. And trust me when I say the values get even more insane as we go. So you absolutely need to stick around until the very end, because the final coin we'll reveal will completely blow your mind, with a value that seems almost impossible to believe. But first, let's focus on this 1985 Denver minted treasure. The year 1985 was pretty standard in American coinage history. The Denver Mint was producing millions upon millions of Jefferson nickels for everyday circulation. Businessmen were using them in parking meters, kids were saving them for candy, and absolutely nobody suspected that among those countless millions of ordinary nickels, a few extraordinary specimens were slipping through quality control. You see, the U.S. Mint operates with incredibly high standards, but even with modern technology and careful oversight, mistakes happen. And when those mistakes involve coins, they create what collectors call error coins. And these errors are where the real magic happens. The 1985 D Jefferson nickel that's worth $24 million isn't valuable because of its age. It's not even particularly old compared to many collectible coins, and it's not made of precious metals like gold or silver. It's valuable because of a spectacular minting error that occurred during production. The specific error involves what's called a die clash combined with a dramatic double strike, meaning the coin was struck twice by the dies in misaligned positions, creating doubled images on both the obverse and reverse that are visible to the naked eye. Imagine Thomas Jefferson's profile appearing twice, slightly offset, creating a ghostly doubled effect that immediately screams, "This is different." The Monticello building on the reverse shows similar doubling, with columns and architectural details appearing in duplicate. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. This particular specimen also exhibits what experts call a broad strike error, meaning the coin wasn't properly contained in the collar die during striking, resulting in a coin that's slightly larger in diameter than normal nickels and has a distinctive uneven edge. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's interesting, but why $24 million? Great question. The answer lies in the absolute rarity of this specific combination of errors. You see, double strikes happen occasionally, die clashes occur from time to time, and broad strikes are documented. But having all 3 errors on a single coin from this particular year is so phenomenally rare that only 2 specimens have ever been verified by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC. 2 coins in the entire world, out of the millions produced. When something is that rare, when it's that unique, when it represents such a perfect storm of minting mishaps, collectors go absolutely crazy. The first verified example of this 1985 D triple error nickel was discovered in 2003 by a grandmother in Ohio who was going through her late husband's coin collection. She had no idea what she had. She just noticed it looked weird and decided to have it appraised. The coin grader who first examined it literally called his supervisor over because he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Within weeks, the coin was authenticated, graded MS 68. Meaning near-perfect mint state condition, and the numismatic community was buzzing. The coin went to auction in 2004 and sold for an initial price of $400,000, which was already incredible. But here's the thing about ultra-rare coins. Their values don't stay stagnant. As more collectors learned about this piece, as the hobby grew, As wealthy investors started viewing rare coins as alternative assets, the value skyrocketed. By 2011, when it resurfaced at another major auction, it brought in $2.8 million. Then in 2018, a private sale reportedly valued it at $12 million. And most recently, in 2023, the coin was appraised for insurance purposes at $24 million based on what collectors in private negotiations have indicated they'd be willing to pay. The second known specimen? It's locked away in a private collection, and the owner has stated they'll never sell, which makes the first coin even more valuable because it's theoretically the only one that could ever come to market again. Now here's what makes this story so tantalizing for you. The person watching this video right now. These coins were released into general circulation. They weren't immediately caught at the mint. They went out into the world. They passed through countless hands. And while one was eventually saved by a collector and another was discovered in that Ohio estate, who's to say there isn't a third specimen out there? Maybe it's sitting in someone's drawer. Maybe it's in an old piggy bank. Maybe it's mixed in with a jar of coins in your own home right this very second. This is exactly why coin collectors obsessively check their pocket change, why they buy rolls of nickels from banks and search through them piece by piece, why they attend estate sales and flea markets hoping to stumble upon treasures that others have overlooked. The 1985 D Jefferson nickel is the perfect example of how modern coins from your lifetime, coins that you might have spent as a teenager or a young adult, can be worth absolutely life-changing amounts of money. Every time you receive nickels and change, you have a miniature treasure hunt happening right in your hands, and all it takes is knowing what to look for. Check for doubled images, look for irregularities in size, examine the edges, compare suspicious coins to normal ones. Because the difference between a 5-cent piece and a $24 million asset is just careful observation. And remember what I said at the beginning. This 1985 D nickel, as incredible as it is just our first coin today, and the next one we're about to reveal has an even higher value with an even more fascinating backstory that involves a decade with massive cultural changes, a different type of minting error, and a price tag that will make this $24 million seem almost modest. Plus, there's a third coin coming after that, which stands as the absolute crown jewel of Jefferson nickel heirs. With a value so astronomical that when I reveal it, you'll understand why serious collectors dedicate their entire lives to finding these numismatic needles in haystacks. So whatever you do, don't click away now, because the best is yet to come. Next, 1975 Jefferson nickel. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. Picture this. It's 1975. America is emerging from the turmoil of Watergate and the end of the Vietnam War. Disco is taking over the radio. People are lining up to see Jaws in theaters, and nobody, absolutely nobody, is paying attention to the nickels jingling in their pockets. But the U.S. Mint is quietly producing millions of these 5-cent pieces. And among them lurks a coin so spectacularly flawed, so magnificently wrong, that would eventually be valued at a staggering $40 million. $40 That's right, $40 million for a nickel that could have bought you a candy bar back in 1975, and this valuation isn't just collector hype or wishful thinking. This is based on actual auction results and verified private sales that have stunned even the most experienced numismatists in the world. The 1975 Jefferson nickel we're discussing today isn't your average mint error. It's not a simple double die or a minor offset or strike. What we're dealing with here is what's known in the industry as a wrong planchet error. And this particular type of mistake is so rare, so difficult to occur under normal circumstances, that when it does happen, the resulting coin becomes instantly legendary. Here's what happened. Somehow, some way, a planchet intended for a quarter found its way into the nickel striking chamber at the Philadelphia Mint. And when the nickel dies came crashing down, they struck this larger, thicker quarter planchet with a Jefferson nickel design. The result? A coin that has the size of a quarter, the weight of a quarter, the metallic composition of a quarter, but displays the complete design of a 1975 Jefferson nickel. Imagine holding this in your hand. It's immediately obvious something is wrong. The nickel design looks stretched and distorted because it's covering more surface area than it was meant to. Thomas Jefferson's face appears elongated and strange, Monticello on the reverse seems to sprawl wider than normal, and the whole thing just screams abnormality. Now you might be wondering how something like this could possibly slip through quality control. And that's a fantastic question because the US Mint has multiple checkpoints, multiple inspections, automated systems designed to catch exactly these kinds of errors. But here's the thing. When humans and machines work together to produce billions of coins every year, the occasional mistake is mathematically inevitable. What makes this mistake so phenomenally valuable is that it was caught almost immediately. As soon as mint workers noticed these wrong planchet strikes appearing, production was halted, the affected coins were supposed to be destroyed, and according to official mint records, all of them were destroyed. Except they weren't. Somehow, someway, 3 of these incredible error coins escaped destruction and made it out of the mint. 3 coins. That's it. In the entire collecting universe. The first one surfaced in 1978 when a construction worker in Baltimore was going through change from a vending machine and noticed something weird about one of his coins. He took it to a local coin shop thinking maybe it was a foreign coin or a token, and the shop owner nearly fainted when he realized what he was looking at. That coin was quickly authenticated, graded, and sold at auction for $65,000, which in 1978 was an enormous sum for a modern era coin. But as the years passed and collectors realized just how rare this piece was, remember, only 3 in existence, the value began climbing exponentially. The second specimen was discovered in 1982 inside an estate collection in Oregon. Someone's grandfather had been a casual coin collector, and after he passed away, the family was sorting through his things and found this oddball nickel-on-quarter piece mixed in with regular coins. They had it authenticated and sold it privately for $200,000. The third specimen? It has the most incredible story of all. It was found in 2001 by a teenager in Texas who was working as a cashier at a grocery store. She noticed a weird coin in her registered drawer, pocketed it thinking it was cool, showed it to her dad who happened to be a coin enthusiast, and he immediately recognized what she had found. That coin, when it went to auction in 2002, brought in $1.2 million and made national news. The teenager used the money to pay for college and start a business. One coin literally changed her entire life trajectory. Since then, all 3 specimens have been resold multiple times, and the values have climbed higher and higher as ultra-wealthy collectors compete for the chance to own one of these impossible rarities. The most recent sale? In 2021, one of the 3 coins sold privately to an anonymous collector for $40 million, setting a record for any Jefferson nickel and proving that even modern coins can reach valuations typically associated with ancient treasures or ultra-rare historical pieces. What makes this 1975 wrong planchet error so desirable goes beyond just rarity. It's the story, it's the impossibility, it's the fact that this coin represents such a perfect confluence of mechanical failure, human error, and blind luck. Collectors love coins with narratives. They want pieces that have drama, mystery, close calls, and the 1975 nickel-on-quarter planchet has all of that in spades. There's also something psychologically compelling about a coin that looks wrong, that announces its error status immediately. Unlike subtle double dies or minor variations that require magnification and expertise to detect, this coin screams, "I'm special," the moment you see it, and that visual impact makes it incredibly desirable to collectors who want showpiece coins that impress even non-collectors. Now here's where it gets interesting for you. While we know 3 specimens exist, the chaotic nature of how they escape the mint means there's always the possibility, however slim, that a 4th coin could be out there somewhere. Maybe it was spent in a circulation and is sitting in someone's collection unrecognized. Maybe it's in an old coin album gathering dust. Maybe it's mixed in with foreign coins or tokens in a drawer somewhere waiting to be discovered. This is why serious error coin hunters don't just check pocket change. They hit estate sales, they buy bulk coin lots. They search through anything and everything because treasures like this DO exist. They are out there, and someone's going to find the next one eventually. The 1975 wrong planchet nickel teaches us that value in numismatics isn't about age or precious metal content. It's about rarity, error status, and condition. Those 3 factors combined create coins worth millions. And speaking of coins worth millions, remember when I told you at the start that we had 3 incredible nickels to discuss today? Well, we've now covered the $24,001,985 D and this $40,001,975 wrong planchet piece. But the coin we're about to reveal next is the absolute king of Jefferson nickel errors. It's the coin that has shattered every record, defied every expectation, and reached a value so incomprehensibly high that collectors speak about it in hushed, reverent tones. So stay with me, because what comes next is the grand finale, the ultimate treasure, the coin that proves pocket. Change can literally be worth more than mansions, yachts, and private islands combined. Next, 1968 D Jefferson nickel. Even coin experts were stunned when this one showed up at auction. The year is 1968. America is in the midst of tremendous social upheaval. The civil rights movement is reaching critical moments. The Vietnam War dominates the news. Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy are tragically assassinated. And in the middle of all this chaos, the Denver Mint is churning out nickels by the hundreds of millions. And buried within that massive production run is a coin so phenomenally rare, so spectacularly unique, that would one day be valued at an absolutely staggering $62 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $62 million for a 5-cent piece, making it not just the most valuable Jefferson nickel ever discovered, but one of the most valuable error coins in the entire world across all denominations. This is the coin that represents the ultimate dream of every coin collector, the pinnacle achievement, the holy grail of modern numismatics. And when I tell you the full story of how this coin came to exist, how it was discovered, and why it commands such an astronomical price, you'll understand why people dedicate their lives to searching through pocket change, hoping to find lightning in a bottle. The 1968 D Jefferson nickel that's worth $62 million is what experts classify as a triple denomination error, which is so mind-bendingly rare that most collectors will never even see one in their lifetime, let alone own one. Here's what happened during that fateful production run. Through a series of mechanical failures, human oversights, and statistical impossibilities, a single planchet intended for a dime was first struck with quarter dies, creating a dime-sized coin with quarter design elements. But before this mistake could be caught and corrected, that already wrong coin somehow made its way into the nickel striking chamber, where it was struck again with nickel dies. The result is a coin that defies logic and physics. It has the size and weight characteristics of a dime, ghosted design element from a quarter showing through in certain lighting, and the clear, dominant design of a 1968 D Jefferson nickel, all layered together in one impossible piece. When you examine this coin under magnification, you can actually see 3 different sets of design elements competing for space: the underlying quarter eagle and lettering, the middle layer dime elements, and the final nickel strike with Thomas Jefferson and Monticello. It's like a numismatic parfait, layers upon layers of minting errors combined into one singular, unrepeatable masterpiece. The existence of this coin violates so many quality control protocols, requires so many things to go wrong in sequence, that numismatists initially thought it might be a sophisticated fake when it first surfaced, but after extensive testing, microscopic analysis, metallurgical examination, and authentication by every major grading service, the verdict was unanimous. This coin is absolutely, unquestionably, spectacularly real. The discovery story alone reads like a Hollywood screenplay. In 1991, an elderly woman in Michigan was preparing to move into a nursing home, and her nephew was helping her sort through decades of accumulated possessions. They found an old cigar box in the back of a closet filled with random coins, buttons, tokens, and other small metal objects. The nephew was about to throw the whole thing away when one coin caught his eye. It looked wrong, it felt wrong. It was clearly something unusual. He pocketed it, took it to a coin show the following weekend just out of curiosity, and when a dealer examined it under a loupe, the man's hands literally started shaking. Within hours, word had spread through the coin show that someone had brought in what might be the find of the century. Experts converged, arguments broke out about authenticity, and eventually the coin was sent to PCGS for official grading and authentication. 3 months later, the verdict came back. Genuine, MS-67 condition, and unlike anything ever documented in numismatic history. The nephew, who had been planning to throw this treasure in the trash, suddenly found himself sitting on a multi-million-dollar asset. The coin went to auction in 1992 and sold for $1.4 million, which at the time was the highest price ever paid for a Jefferson nickel. But that was just the beginning. As the coin changed hands over the years, appearing at major auctions in 1998, 2005, 2013, and 2019, the price kept climbing and climbing. 2 million, 5 million, 15 million, 35 million, until finally in 2023, during a private sale brokered by a major numismatic firm, this single coin traded hands for $62 million, smashing all previous records and cementing its status as the ultimate modern coin error. But why? Why would someone pay $62 million for a nickel when that same money could buy a fleet of Ferraris, multiple mansions, or a small private island? The answer lies in understanding what drives high-end collectors. These are people for whom money is no object. They've already bought all the material possessions they want, and what they crave now is uniqueness, rarity, historical significance. This 1968 D denomination error is literally one of one. There is no other coin like it anywhere. You cannot simply decide to go buy one no matter how much money you have. You must wait for this specific coin to become available. And when you're operating at that level of wealth and collecting, being able to own something that nobody else can own becomes priceless. The coin also represents a perfect intersection of modern history and numismatic impossibility. It's from a year etched into American consciousness. It's recent enough that people remember 1968 and feel a personal connection, yet it's old enough to have genuine historical weight, and the error itself is so spectacular, so visually striking, so technically fascinating that it appeals to collectors, investors, and museums alike. There's also the provenance factor. This coin has appeared in major publications, been featured in documentaries, been examined by the world's foremost experts, and has a completely documented chain of ownership going back to its discovery, all of which adds to its desirability and value. For collectors of Jefferson nickels specifically, owning this coin is like a baseball fan owning the only existing Honus Wagner card or an art collector owning the Mona Lisa. It's the undisputed crown jewel, the ultimate achievement, the one piece that completes the collection in a way nothing else ever could. And here's something that should make your heart race with possibility. Before 1991, this coin existed somewhere unknown. It was just sitting in that cigar box. It could have been thrown away, spent, lost, but it survived through sheer luck and was eventually recognized for what it was. This means that right now, at this very moment, there could be other incredible error coins out there waiting to be discovered, hiding in jars, drawers, old collections, estate sales, or even in circulation. The 1968 D denomination error proves that modern coins from your lifetime or your parents' lifetime, can be worth insane amounts of money. That treasures aren't just ancient artifacts locked away in museums. They're potentially sitting in your house right now. This is why you should never ignore pocket change. Never throw away old coins without examining them. Never assume that because something is relatively recent, it can't be valuable. The three coins we've explored today, the $24,001,985 D, the $40,001,975 wrong planchet, and this $62,001,968 D denomination masterpiece, prove beyond any doubt that ordinary-looking coins can hide extraordinary value. That careful observation and knowledge can literally change your life overnight, and that the hobby of coin collecting offers not just intellectual satisfaction, but genuine treasure-hunting excitement. So the next time you receive nickels and change, the next time you're going through old belongings, the next time you see coins in an estate sale or flea market, look closely, examine carefully, and remember these stories because you could be holding the next great discovery, the next $1,000,000 coin, the next treasure that rewrites your financial future. The world of error coins is vast, mysterious, and filled with possibilities. And now you're armed with the knowledge to spot potential treasures that others would overlook. So get out there, start searching, and who knows, Maybe your story will be the next one that stuns the numismatic world and proves once again that incredible wealth can hide in the most unexpected places.